Hi guys, in this episode we'll be talking about rendering. I'm here with Rafael Sousa.
Hi.
And we'll be discussing a bit of our rendering pipeline, how this all came together with the help of our supporters, so stay tuned. In the early beginning of our short film, we didn't exactly know how we would be rendering all this.
Yeah, for sure.
So we had to test whichever solution we had on the market. And first of all, we started by using the most common CPU renders.
Yeah.
Of course, always talking about bias renders.
Bias renders,
Obviously,
yeah.
you can fit whatever you want, and that's mostly the benefit of it all, the speed and the control. Eventually,
You found out
we
Redshift?
talked about GPU render, and yes, about Redshift, still on a very early alpha stage. And right off the bat, once we started using Redshift, we immediately saw the benefit of using GPU rendering. And that was really like, well, this can change
Everything,
everything.
for sure.
Yeah. Perhaps we no longer will have to think about rendering 100 passes in each shot, and probably just try to get it out
as final stage
in a
and
single
final
bit
image.
pass.
Yeah,
Just
it's
raise
crazy.
it and it's done. So we just thought, okay, GPU rendering, new hardware. How are we gonna pull off
Yeah,
all this magic? And here comes Nvidia,
yeah,
obviously, with all those power horses.
yeah.
And not only on Nvidia, which us with like 5 or 6 PCs with powerful GPUs, we can do a lot. But at some point,
yeah,
we
for
realized
the length of the movie wouldn't be enough.
we are talking about 150, 160 shots.
Yeah,
So in order to render all this, eventually there's some render farms that come and show up as being using Redshift. And that's when GridMarkets came along. We talked to them, and they also got thrilled with our short film and decided to help us, along with a great team as well of OrionVM. Like, it's perfect match. They do the bridge between the hardware guys and us, sending files. Everyone tries to make it like an automatic process.
Yeah.
It's like sculpting, and stone by stone eventually we'll build a castle, and will be like a full automatic tool.
yeah,
We hope
for
so.
Sure.
And this is fun,
it's
and
fun.
most of all, it's really powerful to get things done faster. We knew from the beginning that we wanted to have like a beautiful picture in each frame, and with Redshift we decided to try if we could get like
The best
everything
picture as possible.
directly in the camera.
Yeah.
So Redshift allows us to use
Depth of
real
field.
depth of field and great looking depth of field, great looking motion blur for all kinds of objects,
Yeah,
moving objects,
moving
everything. And also as for the environment, so you get the fog, the volumetric effects right off each or the lights that you want to select. So
Yeah, allowing us to do this right out of the render, we can almost see which is going to be the final look of the movie. You can art direct it right at the render time. You don't need to go to a post.
For me, that was crucial because it's much more creative. You can really quickly define what you want in every single shot.
So you can even import your
Even
favorite
faster.
LUTs and try to mix them together to see the better look of your movie that you would like to try. Okay, let me try this style and move the lights accordingly.
It all turns into perfection once you get to the part where it's biased. And
Yeah.
So you can
You can be very selective how
what's affecting what.
Yeah.
And most of all, how fast you clean up your image. Especially since we tried, okay, let's try and put motion blur and DOF and all those stuff together. And usually even Redshift documentation says, okay, probably adaptive sampling isn't going to be as simple as just having a low and a high sample.
Yeah,
Because
it will take time to clean up the image. Yeah, for sure.
eventually you'll get like to fixed sampling, but no, never.
Never.
Like in all the shots we are running, we are really low samples, like 16. and never higher than 1024, but still it's very high, but super fast to clean up.
Yeah.
And it's amazing because you could never do this anywhere. And again, it's very important to be able to quickly select what you want to affect.
Yeah. As a path tracer, it's the light effects they come out of the box as well. You don't even need to worry too much about effects like subsurface scattering or bounce lighting.
No, you just do it.
Yeah, just a press of a button and you say, okay, I want to be shiny and bounce the lighting around. I don't need to worry about calculations and which kind of settings I need to.
Yeah, it's pretty much that press the magic button that everyone talks about.
Yeah, pretty much.
It's almost this.
It's amazing, man. It's like
do it. We have like 5 sets.
Yeah, like the
and have more than 300 objects. So shading and texturing each single object would be not only very time consuming, but also for Redshift you have to think about texturing.
Yeah.
And you can't simply make 10 million textures and hope to get it cached in VRAM. So it's very important that you keep light textures and if possible no textures at all. And eventually we came up with these kind of materials like plastic materials, metal materials, stone materials. But the thing was, each of these materials had so many nodes that would read like display colors, stuff like that, that allowed us to...
Yeah, that's another thing. Like Redshift itself gives you the tools to make the bridge with the software you're using. And the software we're using as our main tool is Cinema. Like Madaíl was saying, we make like display colors for each object so we could add variation and connect it to a lot of textures.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
Yeah, and it was...
So basically just one material you apply to 500 different objects
and they all look different.
Each one will look different.
Yeah, for sure.
Because you can map that variation to roughness, to everything. Textures, it's so powerful, and then in the end it's so light.
Yeah.
Super fast to render. You can have like 5 textures just
and don't
in
worry
a
about
super powerful shader.
Yeah. You can like, okay, I know that thing is clay, I'm just gonna put the magic procedural mega clay material and it just applies to 100 of objects that with the same because
even we didn't have to think about UV.
Yeah, because it has also support for triplanar.
Just the hero objects, even some you could use triplanar. But most of all was just like flat mapping, cubic mapping, and stuff.
For sure.
Just a quick note. Yesterday's shot, I remember it had 930 textures loaded, and it was only taking 60 megabytes of VRAM. 900 textures.
And we are using the cards from Nvidia. They are like how many gigs?
24.
24. Okay.
24. So yeah, I could probably get it with a GeForce 600 like 10 years ago and still render it.
Yeah.
Surely.
I believe the team really mastered the technology of Nvidia CUDA, and it's...
Yeah, because the first frame, it takes a bit longer because like 900 textures, it takes some time. It took like 8 minutes to load.
Yeah, for sure.
And the render itself took like 1.5 minutes. And we're talking about 2K resolution. With at least that shot, we had 150 objects and environment, fogs, dove, motion blur.
Yeah, but balance it out. Like half an
next
hour
frame
for
is
waiting for a frame, or 10 minutes waiting for a frame and a movie.
It's magic.
Yeah.
And another thing, important thing, of course, since it was an alpha stage, and even now, which is already a final release, and it's always upgrading.
Yeah, they're always improving.
They're always improving, but still there are some issues. And one of the issues we had, because even though we no longer have like 100 passes, like we were saying, still, if you
We'd
want
like to have
extra
some control. Yeah.
So eventually, at least we wanted to have like an extra Z-depth pass, an AO pass, and like a puzzle mat, an ID pass, you call it what you want. And eventually we got into this simple, it looks simple issue of the opacity maps.
Yeah, it was a bit troublesome just to get the heck of it, but it really helped it because it's like...
Because we thought, either we're going to have to implement a connection to the AOV to each single material, so
And
we're gonna die.
Yeah, because by that time we're already like, what, 50% or more in shading done.
It would be...
That's hundreds of materials.
It would be crazy, and if you wanted to change anything, you would have to do it all, 500 materials. So that's when the take system in C4D
helped us out.
was crucial. Because
it was done before, but using physical, if I'm not mistaken, where they use the take system to make like a multi-pass layer where you choose pretty much what you need to export. In Redshift it was a bit different since we needed to create some custom AOVs that helps us out. By default they don't have like an ID pass. Well, they do have, but it's a bit tricky to use, right? It's like a...
Yeah, it doesn't make much sense as it is.
Yeah, but I'm sure they'll improve it or come to another solution.
Yeah, we just made it based on the display color.
Yeah,
since
yeah.
we had
that was
display colors in each object.
Yeah, because since we needed that display color to make variation of the objects, we thought, well, why don't we use this as an ID?
We can control the color that we want in a specific object to get a proper matte for when the comp,
whatever, yeah.
When the comp passes. But the main thing here was that by using the take system, we could quickly override a single AO material, for instance, to every tag. Every texture tag, so in a single click
you could
you
render
can have a single material, not 500 AO materials, just one, so quickly change it.
Again with the opacity maps. Yeah.
That was just the main difference, because if we had materials with opacity maps, say leaves, whatever, those are the single ones that you have to manually add the opacity map either to a sprite material or something like that.
Otherwise it won't read it, and it will only read it to whatever object is mapped to.
But it's super fast to deal with, and if you want to change the AO settings or anything, it's again
just
super quick to change. Just change one material, not all the materials.
Yeah, so, an ecosystem where it's built, you can pretty much make presets and just apply it to every shot, right? Kinda. Okay.
Meh.
Close enough, but it works.
Yeah.
Okay.
It does. So this is it, guys. In the next episode, we'll be hearing all the wonders of sound with the wonderful sound design made from Ergonoise, our partners, and the
original score made by
Steve Rucker.
Nice.
Yeah, it's gonna be awesome.
Stay tuned.
Thanks, Rafael.
Power slap!